For 180 years, the West treated China like a walking ATM with no PIN. But now, China's the one holding the card. And this isn't your usual rise of a superpower TED Talk. This is payback. 180 years in the making. In the early 1800s, China was the richest empire on earth, exporting silk, porcelain, and tea, the luxury items of the world. The other great empire, Britain, was obsessed with getting more tea. The British elite couldn't get enough after the Enlightenment. But there was a problem. Britain had nothing China wanted. So the Brits came up with a plan. Addiction. They started smuggling opium, grown in British-controlled India, straight into China. By the 1830s, millions of Chinese were addicted. The demand for opium drained silver out of China by the shipload. In 1839, China finally banned the drug and seized 20,000 chests of opium in Canton. How did the British react? Exactly how you'd think. Not with an apology, but with a declaration of war. China fought with wooden junks and swords. Britain had the world's most powerful navy, steamships, rifles, industrial firepower. It wasn't a war. It was a mugging. China lost and was forced to legalize opium, hand over Hong Kong for free, and pay $21 million, about $3 billion today. Imagine if Canada invaded us to sell fentanyl, and then billed us for the gas and missiles. That's not trade. That's armed robbery with paperwork. The Opium Wars cracked China open, and the world rushed in. Britain grabbed ports. France carved the south. Russia took the north. Japan eyed the coast. Even the US showed up for a fair share. This became known as the Century of Humiliation. By 1900, China was carved into multiple spheres of influence. Each foreign power set up its own laws, banks, and enclaves. In Shanghai, foreigners raced horses, opened opium dens, built mansions, completely immune to local laws. When Chinese nationalists finally fought back, the Boxer Rebellion, 8 nations united to crush it. They marched into Beijing, looted the Forbidden City, burned palaces, killed civilians. Then they sent the bill. $333 million in reparations. That's over $10 billion today. Fast forward a few decades. Civil war, invasion, famine, China's wrecked. But in 1949, Mao Zedong stands in Tiananmen Square and declares, "Ours will no longer be a nation subject to insult and humiliation. We have stood up." Translation, we're done being your punching bag. The next 30 years are brutal. The Great Leap Forward, the Cultural Revolution, tens of millions dead. But one idea survives. Never again will China be humiliated by an outside force. Then comes Deng Xiaoping. Quiet, calculating. He doesn't preach revolution, he preaches results. To get rich is glorious, he says. He opens the economy, invites Western factories in, and tells the world, "Come build your stuff here." In 2001, China joins the World Trade Organization. For the West, it's great. Cheap labor, jackpot. For China, it's free technology. Factories boom. Cities rise from rice fields. They copy, learn, innovate, until they don't need to copy anymore. China's not rising. It's collecting. Its GDP, $18 trillion, second only to the US. They produce 80% of the world's solar panels, 60% of EVs, 90% of rare earth minerals. They hold $800 billion in US debt. And through the Belt and Road Initiative, they've loaned out $1 trillion to 150-plus countries. Recently, Sri Lanka couldn't pay back its loans. So China took its main port for 99 years. Sound familiar? Yeah, it's Hong Kong in reverse. This time, they're the ones holding the lease. And the influence doesn't stop at ports. TikTok has 1.5 billion users, and its algorithm is refined in Beijing. BRICS 2025 has pushed for a new currency to ditch the US dollar. But this isn't aggression. This is interest on a 180-year loan. Let's be real, China's not innocent. Uyghur camps, censorship, surveillance, social credit scores, they've got skeletons. But let's not act shocked. We wrote this playbook. We taught them that debt is power, ports are leverage, addiction equals profit. They just read the manual and printed a better copy. History isn't a morality tale, it's a ledger, and China's finally balancing the books. So next time you see a headline screaming, "China, threat," ask the one question no one wants to answer. Who started it? Because this isn't a rise, it's a return, with interest. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.